Hello and welcome. Every single day, you and we make thousands of choices, right? Most of the time, we don't even think about them. But have you ever stopped and wondered what's really happening inside your brain in that split second? Well, today we're going to do just that. We are unlocking the black box of human decision-making. I mean, think about it. Why that specific brand of coffee? Why did you decide to pay a little extra for that eco-friendly cleaner? Was it just an ad you saw, or the price, or is there something way deeper going on? These little choices, they're actually at the heart of a huge mystery that people have been trying to solve for over a century.
You know, for the longest time, the thinking was super simple. A stimulus happens, like you see an ad, and it leads directly to a response, like you buy the product. But that model always felt, well, a little off. It just couldn't explain why two people could see the exact same ad and have totally different reactions. There was clearly a missing piece, a kind of black box sitting right there in the middle of everything.
Okay, so let's crack this thing open. To really get what's inside that black box, we need to introduce one secret ingredient. It's just a single letter, but it completely changes the game. It helps us see the whole process less like a simple light switch and more like a sophisticated smart home system.
And that secret ingredient is the letter O for organism. Back in the 1920s, a psychologist named Robert Woodworth tweaked that old model, creating what we now call the Stimulus-Organism-Response model, or SOR for short. The organism is basically everything that's going on inside of us: our thoughts, our feelings, our memories, our values. It's the critical filter that every single stimulus has to pass through before we even think about acting.
So here's how it plays out. Nice and simple. First, you've got the stimulus. That's the external cue, the ad, whatever. Then it hits the organism. That's our own unique internal world, which chews on it and figures out what it means to us. And only after all that internal processing do we get to the response, our final action, or even just the decision to act. It's a simple three-step flow, but it is incredibly powerful. And the real magic of this SOR framework, as this quote from 2002 points out, is just how flexible it is. You can use it to understand almost any choice we make, from what we decide to eat for lunch to how we interact with the latest AI. So let's put it to the test and look at a few really different examples to see how it works in the real world. First up, let's tackle something that is on a lot of our minds these days: trying to make more sustainable choices. How does this model help us understand why some of us are willing to go green at the grocery store? And make no mistake, we're talking about a massive scale here. Just the global organic food market was estimated to be worth nearly $100 billion. This isn't some tiny niche market anymore. It's a global movement, and it's all driven by millions and millions of individual choices. So how exactly are those choices being made? Well, a 2021 study by Sultan and his team used this exact model to find out. They saw the stimuli as things like marketing and how much health value we think the food has. But here's the key: those things don't automatically make us buy. They get filtered through our internal attitudes, the organism, and that includes utilitarian attitudes, asking, is this practical? Is it high quality? And hedonic ones, like, will buying this make me feel good? The takeaway is huge. It's not enough to just tell people something is healthy. You have to connect with their inner sense of what feels good and what makes practical sense. But it's not just about a specific product or a clever ad. Sometimes the stimulus, well, it can be much, much bigger than that. In fact, our general feeling about the entire economy can dramatically change what we put in our shopping carts.
Right, so building on that, a 2022 study found that consumer confidence, basically how optimistic we feel about the economy, is a really powerful stimulus. When we're feeling good about the economy, it actually changes our internal state, the organism. It can boost our environmental consciousness, sure, but also, and this is interesting, our status consciousness. And that internal shift makes us more likely to buy green products. The so what here is massive. It means our willingness to invest in the planet can be directly linked to how secure we feel about our own wallets.
Now, this SOR model isn't just for explaining our shopping habits. It's also incredibly relevant for understanding our relationship with the future. So let's pivot and talk about one of the biggest technologies changing our world right now: artificial intelligence.
I mean, just think about ChatGPT. It's way more than a novelty now. A 2024 study by Pham and his team noted that people are using it for really complex stuff, like planning out an entire vacation from start to finish. But what makes someone actually trust an AI with something that important?
So the study found the stimuli are what they call anthropomorphism cues, which is a fancy way of saying how human-like the AI seems, things like its perceived warmth, its speed, and how competent it appears. These cues then get processed by our organism, our internal feelings of trust, and our overall attitude toward the AI. If we trust it, if we feel good about it, our response is satisfaction and the desire to keep on using it. This is so critical for tech designers. Building trust isn't just about writing perfect code. It's about crafting an experience that connects with our very human need for competence and reliability.
So, after looking at organic food, economic confidence, and even AI chatbots, you start to see a really clear pattern emerge, don't you? It all keeps coming back to that middle step, the one that used to be a complete black box.
I mean, just look at the organism factors we saw in our examples. We're talking about our personal health values, our feelings about the environment and social status, our practical and emotional attitudes, and our fundamental trust in technology. This internal stuff, this is where all the action is really happening.
So here it is, the big takeaway. The stimulus, whether it's an ad, the economy, or an AI's tone, it just knocks on the door. It's the organism, our messy, complex, uniquely human inner world, that decides whether to even open that door. This is the real battleground, where every single choice is won or lost. And understanding this doesn't just help people sell things, it helps us understand ourselves.
So let's just look back for a second. We started this whole journey with a big question mark, right? A black box that the old models just couldn't explain. Well, now we can fill in that blank. It's not some mystery box. It's our inner world. A stimulus gets filtered through the very core of who we are, and that is what leads to our response.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. As technology like AI gets better and better at mimicking human warmth and competence, creating more powerful stimuli than we've ever seen, how is that going to change our internal worlds? What new filters will we develop? And how will the organism of tomorrow decide which choices to make? Thanks for watching.